In 1968, a housewife in Cincinnati pulled 6 ingredients from her pantry at 5:30 p.m. before her husband's poker friends arrived at 6. By 5:58, she had 4 appetizers on the counter, a drink in her hand, and not a single pan to wash afterward. That woman understood something the entire modern appetizer industry has spent 60 years trying to make you forget. The best party food in American history required no cooking, no special equipment, and no culinary school degree. Number 17 was served at every American cocktail party between 1965 and 1979. Number 11 disappeared when the food industry convinced America that convenience was shameful. Number 1 was the single most requested appetizer at American dinner parties for 20 straight years, and you have probably forgotten it exists. These are 25 lazy appetizers for when you're too tired to cook, straight from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Not cuisine, not presentation, just the food that made everyone stay longer than they planned. Subscribe before we begin. The countdown starts now. Deviled ham on Ritz crackers. The little red devil on the can. If you are over 55, you know exactly which can this is. It sat in American pantries for 60 straight years and appeared on every party platter from 1958 through 1982. Underwood deviled ham cost 25 cents in 1968. Today, around $2.29. A box of Ritz crackers cost 20 cents. Today, around $2.49. Total then under 50 cents. Today, under $5. Fed 10. You open the can and stir with a butter knife until smooth. You spread it onto Ritz crackers one at a time. You add a thin sliver of green olive on top if you want to feel fancy. The spread is salty and pink. The Ritz cracker snaps cleanly under it. Underwood deviled ham has been sold since 1868, making it America's oldest branded food product. By 1968, it appeared on every American cocktail party platter from Maine to California. 1 can, 20 cents of crackers, done in 4 minutes. If you love vintage recipes, subscribe, because every day we bring back the meals America forgot. Stuffed celery with cream cheese and pimentos. She made 12 stalks on a Saturday afternoon and kept them covered on a plate in the refrigerator, ready for any guest who arrived between Friday and Tuesday without warning. Philadelphia cream cheese cost 35 cents in 1968. Today, around $2.49. A bunch of celery and a jar of diced pimentos. Total then under 60 cents. Today, under $4. Fed 12. You soften cream cheese on the counter 20 minutes. You mix in drained diced pimentos, a pinch of garlic powder, and salt. You spread the mixture generously into the groove of each cleaned celery stalk. You refrigerate covered until needed. You cut each stalk into 3-inch pieces before serving. The cream cheese is cool and dense. The pimentos add color and a faint sweetness. Stuffed celery appeared on American cocktail party and holiday tables from 1940 through 1985. It appeared in Betty Crocker's party book in 1959 as the ideal no-cook appetizer for any occasion. Made Sunday, served all week. 0 cooking required at any point. Smokies in barbecue sauce. 3 ingredients, a slow cooker. The appetizer that made every guest ask for the recipe while eating their 4th toothpick of the evening. A pack of Hillshire Farm Little Smokies cost 89 cents in 1972. Today, around $4.49. A bottle of KC Masterpiece barbecue sauce and a spoon of brown sugar. Total then under $1.50. Today, under $7. Fed 16. You dump the Smokies into a slow cooker. You pour barbecue sauce over them. You add a spoon of brown sugar and stir once. You set it on low for 2 hours. You set out a pile of toothpicks. The Smokies plump in the sweet, sticky sauce. The sauce reduces and coats each one. Cocktail Smokies in barbecue sauce appeared in American party cookbooks throughout the 1970s after Hillshire Farm launched Little Smokies nationally in 1968. By 1975, they were the most popular slow cooker appetizer in America. 3 ingredients, 2 hours. The toothpick pile was always gone first. Cheese ball. The centerpiece of every American cocktail party from 1965 through 1985. She made it the night before. She rolled it in chopped pecans. She put a sprig of parsley on top and called it done. 2 blocks of cream cheese cost 70 cents in 1968. Today, around $4.99. Sharp cheddar, Worcestershire, garlic powder, and chopped pecans. Total then under $1.50. Today, under $9. Fed 16. You soften both blocks of cream cheese. You mix in shredded sharp cheddar, Worcestershire, garlic powder, and a dash of hot sauce. You shape the mixture into a ball with your hands. You roll it completely in chopped pecans until coated. You wrap in plastic and refrigerate overnight. The cheese ball is firm and covered in golden pecans. Bacon-wrapped water chestnuts. Called Rumaki in the 1960s after Trader Vic's popularized the Hawaiian Polynesian version. Called the appetizer that disappeared from every platter before anything else by everyone who served them. A can of water chestnuts cost 29 cents in 1969. Today, around $1.49. A pound of bacon and a bottle of soy sauce. Total then under $1. Today, under $8. Fed 12. You drain the water chestnuts and marinate them in soy sauce and brown sugar for 30 minutes. You cut bacon strips in half. You wrap each water chestnut in a half strip of bacon and secure with a toothpick. You bake at 400 for 20 minutes until the bacon is crisp. The bacon goes dark and crispy. The water chestnut inside stays cool and crunchy. Rumaki was invented by Trader Vic Bergeron at his Oakland restaurant in 1937. By 1968, it appeared in every American party cookbook and became the signature hot appetizer of the cocktail party era. The tray emptied in 7 minutes every single time, without exception. Rumaki with chicken livers. The original Trader Vic's version that used chicken liver instead of water chestnut. The appetizer that was the centerpiece of every Polynesian-themed cocktail party from 1960 through 1972, and that food media quietly retired when organ meat became unfashionable. A pound of chicken livers cost 29 cents in 1968. Today, around $2.49. Bacon, soy sauce, brown sugar, and fresh ginger. Total then under $1. Today, under $8. Fed 12. You cut chicken livers into bite-sized pieces. You marinate them in soy sauce, brown sugar, and grated ginger for 1 hour. You wrap each piece in half a strip of bacon and secure with a toothpick. You broil 4 minutes per side until the bacon is crisp and the liver is just cooked through. The bacon is crisp and dark. The liver inside is pink and rich. Trader Vic Bergeron invented Rumaki in Oakland in 1937, basing it on Indonesian sauté traditions. By 1962, it was the signature hot appetizer of every Polynesian-themed home cocktail party in America. 29 cents of chicken liver, the most glamorous appetizer of 1965. Pigs in blankets. She popped the crescent dough can, rolled 30 small sausages in 12 minutes, and had the most popular hot appetizer in the room without turning on anything except the oven. A pack of cocktail wieners cost 59 cents in 1968. Today, around $4.99. A can of Pillsbury crescent dough cost 39 cents. Today, around $3.49. Total then under $1. Today, under $9. Made 30 pieces. You unroll the crescent dough on a flat surface. You cut each triangle into 3 smaller triangles. You place a cocktail wiener at the wide end of each piece and roll it toward the point. You arrange them on a baking sheet and bake at 375 for 12 minutes. The dough turns golden. The kitchen smells like butter and pork. The recipe appeared in Betty Crocker's New Picture Cookbook in 1963 and became the most common children's party and cocktail party hot appetizer in America by 1968. 30 pieces, $1, 12 minutes. Every tray emptied completely. Clam dip. The dip that tasted like the ocean and cost under $2 and appeared at every American cocktail party between 1954 and 1975 before it quietly vanished from the party food vocabulary entirely. A can of minced clams cost 39 cents in 1968. Today, around $2.49. A block of cream cheese, lemon juice, Worcestershire, and hot sauce. Total then under $1. Today, under $5. Fed 12. You drain the clams but save 2 tablespoons of the juice. You beat the cream cheese until smooth. You mix in the clams, reserved juice, lemon juice, Worcestershire, garlic powder, and a dash of hot sauce. You chill for 1 hour. You serve with Ruffles chips. The dip is pale and flecked with clam. The ocean flavor is present but not overwhelming. Clam dip appeared in American entertaining guides after Kraft Foods ran a television advertisement for it during a 1954 Super Bowl broadcast. Grocery stores sold out of cream cheese the following week. Under $2. The dip that tasted expensive and cost almost nothing. Spinach dip in a bread bowl. The 1970s innovation that changed party food permanently. She hollowed out a round sourdough loaf, filled it with spinach dip, and used the bread pieces for dipping. The bowl was always eaten last and always fought over. A package of frozen chopped spinach cost 29 cents in 1975, today around $1.50. Sour cream, mayonnaise, water chestnuts, and a sourdough boule. Total then under $1.50, today under $10. Fed 16. You thaw and squeeze the spinach completely dry. You mix it with sour cream, mayonnaise, drained water chestnuts, diced green onions, and a packet of Knorr vegetable soup mix. You refrigerate overnight. You hollow out the sourdough boule and fill it with the dip. You arrange the bread pieces around it. The dip is green and creamy. The bread bowl absorbs the flavors overnight. Spinach dip in a bread bowl was created by the Knorr Company in 1978 when they printed the recipe on their vegetable soup mix packet. By 1982, it was the signature party appetizer of American suburban entertaining. Made the night before, assembled in 5 minutes, gone in 20. Deviled eggs. Here is something nobody says out loud. The deviled egg plate disappeared from the appetizer table the moment food media decided it was not sophisticated enough. It was wrong. The deviled egg was always the best thing on any table it sat on. A dozen eggs cost 59 cents in 1968, today around $3.49. Mayonnaise, mustard, paprika, and a pinch of cayenne. Total then under 80 cents. Today, under $5. Made 24 halves. You hard-boil the eggs and peel them under cold running water. You slice them lengthwise and press the yolks into a bowl. You mash with mayonnaise, yellow mustard, salt, and a splash of vinegar until smooth. You pipe or spoon the filling back into the whites. You dust with paprika. The filling is pale yellow and creamy. The paprika goes red against the white. Deviled eggs came to American party tables through English settlers in the 1700s. By 1968, they appeared at every Baptist, Methodist, and cocktail party appetizer spread from Maine to Texas without exception. The deviled egg plate was always empty first. Here is something nobody says out loud. The appetizers on this list were not made by caterers. They were not assembled by personal chefs. They were made by women who worked all day, came home at 5, had guests arriving at 7, and figured out how to fill a table with food that made people feel welcomed and fed and happy. That woman did not call herself a host. She called herself tired. She called herself unprepared. She opened a can and a box of crackers, and she made something out of almost nothing. And here is what the modern food industry does not want you to know. The guests at her table felt more welcome than the guests at any catered event you have ever attended. Because the food was made for them, not photographed for someone else. Salmon mousse. The 1960s appetizer that required a fish-shaped mold and a can of pink salmon and made every guest think they were eating something that cost considerably more than 89 cents to produce. A can of pink salmon cost 89 cents in 1968. Today, around $2.49. Cream cheese, lemon juice, dill, unflavored gelatin, and olive slices for the eye. Total then under $1.50. Today, under $7. Fed 12. You drain the salmon and remove the skin. You beat cream cheese smooth. You bloom gelatin in cold water and melt it. You blend salmon, cream cheese, lemon juice, and dill together. You fold in dissolved gelatin. You pour into a fish-shaped mold and refrigerate overnight. You unmold onto a plate of parsley. The salmon fish holds its shape perfectly. Salmon mousse appeared in Julia Child's Mastering the Art of French Cooking in 1961 and was immediately adapted by American home cooks using canned salmon. Cocktail meatballs in grape jelly sauce. 3 ingredients in a slow cooker. The appetizer that sounds wrong until you taste it, and then you eat 11 of them before anyone else gets near the bowl. A pound of frozen meatballs cost $1.19 in 1972. Today, around $7.99. A jar of Welch's grape jelly and a bottle of Heinz chili sauce. Total, then, under $2.50. Today, under $12. Fed 20. You dump the frozen meatballs into a slow cooker. You pour in the grape jelly and chili sauce. You stir once. You set it on low for 3 hours. You set out toothpicks. The sauce turns dark, glossy, and thick. The meatballs absorb everything. Grape jelly meatballs came from Midwestern Jewish American sweet and sour cooking traditions and spread through Lutheran and Methodist church cookbooks. Stuffed mushroom caps. The hot appetizer that appeared in every 1970s American entertaining cookbook and that required exactly 30 minutes from mushroom to platter. The one that made every guest ask if you had been to cooking school. A pound of button mushrooms cost 59 cents in 1974. Today, around $3.49. Cream cheese, garlic, Parmesan, breadcrumbs, and fresh parsley. Total then under $1. Today, under $7. Fed 12. You pop the stems from the caps and chop the stems fine. You mix chopped stems with softened cream cheese, minced garlic, grated Parmesan, breadcrumbs, and parsley. You stuff each cap generously. You arrange on a baking sheet and bake at 375 for 15 minutes until the tops go golden. The caps go dark and tender. The filling bubbles and browns at the edges. Stuffed mushrooms entered American party cooking through French culinary influence in the 1950s. By 1974, they appeared in every American entertaining cookbook from Sunset to Better Homes and Gardens. 30 minutes, under $1. The hot appetizer that made people think you tried harder than you did. Olive cheese balls. She wrapped each olive in a teaspoon of sharp cheddar dough and baked them until golden. Guests popped them into their mouths and could not identify what was inside for 3 full seconds. Then they reached for another one. Pimento stuffed olives cost 29 cents in 1969. Today, around $2.49. Sharp cheddar, flour, butter, cayenne. Total then under 60 cents. Today, under $5. Made 24. You mix shredded sharp cheddar with flour, soft butter, cayenne, and salt into a smooth dough. You wrap 1 teaspoon of dough around each olive, sealing it completely. You refrigerate 30 minutes. You bake at 400 for 15 minutes until golden. The exterior is crisp and cheesy. The olive inside is warm and briny. Olive cheese balls appeared in Southern Living magazine in 1968 and spread through junior league cookbooks across the South by 1972. The 3-second mystery was the entire point. Pimento cheese spread. The South called it the caviar of the South. Junior league women across Georgia and Virginia called it the one appetizer that never left the party table with anything remaining in the bowl. Sharp cheddar cost 69 cents a pound in 1969. Today, around $5.49. A jar of pimentos, Duke's mayonnaise, and cayenne. Total then under $1. Today, under $8. Fed 12. You grate cold sharp cheddar on the large holes of a box grater. You drain and chop the pimentos. You mix together with mayonnaise, a pinch of cayenne, black pepper, and a dash of Worcestershire. You refrigerate 1 hour. You serve with Ritz crackers or celery sticks. The spread is orange and dense. It holds its shape on a cracker. Made Sunday, lasted all week, never once went to waste. Make one of these this week. Just one. Pick the Lipton onion soup dip from the top of this list and a bag of Lay's chips. Or the cheese ball with Ritz crackers. Or the Velveeta Rotel dip with tortilla chips. Any one of them. Every ingredient costs less than $12 at any grocery store in America right now. In the comments, tell me which one your mother made at every party. Was it the deviled eggs or the cheese ball? Tell me the appetizer you remember reaching for first at every gathering you attended before 1990. I am reading every one. Peanut butter and pickle. Bread, peanut butter, dill pickles. In 1971, a jar of peanut butter cost 59 cents and a jar of pickles cost 49 cents. Together, they fed one person for most of a week. You spread the peanut butter generously, not thin, generous. The pickle slices go on in a single overlapping layer. The brine from the pickle cuts directly through the fat of the peanut butter. The contrast is sharp and immediate. The crunch of the pickle against the softness of the bread creates something your brain registers as satisfying in a way that is hard to explain. This combination appeared in lunch pail culture across the American Midwest throughout the 1960s and 1970s.
Fried egg sandwich. 2 eggs, 2 slices of bread, butter, salt. In 1972, eggs cost 38 cents a dozen. This sandwich cost approximately 12 cents to make and filled a grown adult completely. You melt the butter in the pan over medium heat until it foams. The eggs go in. The whites set from the edges inward. You break the yolk if you want something that won't run, or leave it whole if you want that moment when it breaks across the bread. Salt goes on while the egg is still in the pan. The bread goes in dry or toasted. The egg slides on top. The fried egg sandwich is working-class food on every continent. In Britain, it is a breakfast staple. In America, it was a Depression-era dinner. In the American South, it was what you made when the grocery money ran short before the week did. 2 minutes, 1 pan, 1 plate. When exhaustion makes everything feel impossible, this sandwich asks almost nothing. Number 21. Tuna and celery on toast. 1 can of tuna, 1 stalk of celery, mayonnaise, toast. Deviled ham on rye.
A can of deviled ham spread, rye bread, yellow mustard. In 1970, a can of Underwood deviled ham cost 39 cents. It was the convenience food of the working class before anyone used the phrase convenience food. You open the can. You spread it directly onto the rye. The mustard goes on the opposite slice, just a thin layer, enough to cut the richness of the ham. The two slices come together. The rye has its own mild sourness that meets the spiced ham exactly where it needs to be met. Underwood deviled ham is the oldest trademarked food product in the United States, first sold in 1822 and reformulated into its familiar can by the 1860s. By the 1970s, it was in pantries from New England to the Gulf Coast. Working families kept it on the shelf the way they kept aspirin, because you always needed it eventually. No cooking, no preparation, no dishes beyond the knife. Here is something nobody says out loud. There is a kind of tiredness that has nothing to do with sleep. It is the tiredness of carrying too much for too long without anyone noticing the weight. It is the tiredness of being the one who figures it out every single day, no matter what. The women who wrote those 1970s community cookbooks knew that tiredness personally. They did not write about it. They just built it into the recipes. They made the steps shorter. They made the ingredient lists smaller. They assumed the reader was already running on empty, because most of them were too. These sandwiches are not about laziness. They never were. They are about conserving what little you have left at the end of the day, so that tomorrow you can do it all over again. Someone understood that about you before you were born. They just put it in a cookbook instead of saying it directly. Sardine and onion on toast. Toast, canned sardines in oil, thinly sliced white onion, a squeeze of lemon if you have it. In 1974, a tin of sardines cost 29 cents. This was the fisherman's sandwich, the dock worker's sandwich, the lunch of people who needed protein and did not have time to argue about it. You drain the sardines partially, not completely, because the oil is part of the flavor. You lay them on the toast and press gently. The onion goes on in thin half rings. The lemon, if it exists in your kitchen, goes on last. The sardine is rich and oceanic. The onion is sharp and alive. The toast holds everything together with a structural crunch. Sardine sandwiches were common across Scandinavian American and Portuguese American communities throughout New England in the mid-20th century. They were carried in lunch pails to canneries, docks, and processing plants by workers who earned very little and needed to keep going. High protein, long shelf life, no cooking required. This is engineering. Apple and cheddar. Whole grain bread, sharp cheddar, thinly sliced apple. In 1975, a pound of sharp cheddar cost 89 cents, and apples cost 25 cents a pound at fall farmers markets. This sandwich costs under 60 cents to assemble and requires no heat whatsoever. You slice the apple thin enough to bend slightly without breaking. The cheddar goes on in flat overlapping pieces. The apple goes on top of the cheese. The two slices of bread come together. You press gently. The apple gives slightly under the pressure and releases a small amount of juice that softens the bread just barely. The sharpness of the cheddar and the sweetness of the apple work in complete opposition and complete harmony simultaneously. This pairing has roots in English farmhouse tradition, carried to New England and the rural American Midwest by settlers in the 18th and 19th centuries. By the 1970s, it appeared in American home economics textbooks as an example of balanced nutrition at low cost. No cooking, no heat, no dishes, just a knife and a cutting board. Liverwurst and raw onion. Rye or pumpernickel bread, liverwurst, raw white onion. In 1972, liverwurst cost 59 cents per half pound. This was Eastern European immigrant food that crossed the Atlantic with German, Polish, and Czech communities and settled permanently in the American Midwest. You slice the liverwurst thick. It should hold its shape on the bread. The onion goes on in thin rings. No condiment is required, though mustard is welcome if it exists in your refrigerator. The liverwurst is dense and mineral-forward and deeply savory. The raw onion is aggressive and sharp. Together, they are not for everyone. They are for someone who knows exactly what they want and does not require anyone else's approval of it. Liverwurst sandwiches appeared on the menus of German-American delicatessens from Milwaukee to Cincinnati to St. Louis throughout the mid-20th century. They were the lunch of butchers, bakers, factory workers, and shopkeepers. High in iron, high in B vitamins, high in the kind of flavor that requires no apology.